What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. For us, documenting the struggle is just as important as highlighting the wins. Seeing the struggle makes the flow tangible. If you can think of someone you want to bring along with you, please share this show. There are running and overarching principal themes to success that have been reinforced in my life, and especially this last year, and ones I plan on bringing into this year and beyond, ones I believe are difference makers in character. To clarify, for me, success is not limited to money in the bank. For me, it's attending to your potential and leaving less of what's possible for you undone. That is in every category: physical, intellectual, emotional, in health, wealth, and relationships. If you embody even 10% of these principles, 2 out of these 22, you will stand out amongst most people. You will be a rare gem. I'll list these here, and to save from this being a 2-hour episode, I'll expand on these principles at different times during this year if we haven't already in the past. By no means do I think that these are in order of importance. Do I think that this is an exhaustive list? But there might be some divine order that I'm not aware of as these came to me. Let's start with the most difficult one. The one I think most of us are reluctant to do. One that we have almost accepted not having to be congruent with, and we slip its importance under the rug. Principle number 1, again, not in order, but just so you can follow along as I list all of them, I'm going to number them. Principle number 1, speak the truth. Whenever possible, choose the uncomfortable truth. Or like Jordan Peterson says, at least don't lie. The truth defines you. You have to learn how to tell the truth. It doesn't come naturally because we are raised with the convenient lies our entire life. We've been surrounded by people who default to lies because they haven't learned how to tell the truth. Choose the truth. Do it badly. Say it badly. Raise the stakes where you expect yourself to speak the truth regardless. Deal with the consequences. Make mistakes. And you will get better at living a life of truth. This one thing alone will give you more happiness in the long term than any other thing you can do on the rest of this list. Another major one for me that has been a ruling principle in my life. Principle number 2. Always put relationship over currency. No amount of money is worth weighing down a relationship. How people relate with money and interact with each other and how generous they are with each other speaks volumes about them as an individual. It tells you where your priorities lie. All money can be made back. What cannot come back are moments and time with people. Money should never be a source of conflict. It should always be recognized as the tool that it is to buy experiences and more life. To buy more life. And there is no life without relationships. There is no place where money should overshadow human connection. Number 3, how deep you listen is how deep you will go in your relationships. Without it, you won't experience the most rewarding parts of people. The ones that come through from a foundation of trust and familiarity, through the safety that provides. One that you must build in increments. Listening intently will enhance all of your relationships, all of your business dealings, and will make you a joy to be around. People will feel seen around you. Number 4, being open-minded and being flexible is of utmost importance escalation of commitment is detrimental. Most of us are afraid to change our mind or quit something once we've already gotten started down the path of it. That could be anything as small as making a point in an argument to as big as the career you've chosen or the entire model of the business you've designed. Your key to survival and your key to an ever-expanding life will be how quickly you can drop bad ideas and pick up new ones, and recognize them to be so. Pick what's right over what is consistent. This is one of the major tendencies and flaws of our personalities. Consistency bias is a fallacy and will lead you astray into more and more isolation. It will solidify the walls of your echo chamber, cut you off from possible redemption. An open mind will save you a lot of unnecessary expended energy. And if you couple it with your listening ability, your commitment to listen intently, you will allow yourself to have relationships with all walks of life, which in turn will expand your world even more. You will experience what most people don't get to experience. 5. Your reputation matters. Mostly the one you have with yourself. Do what you say and say what you do. That is the definition of integrity. This is also built incrementally by keeping small promises to yourself, by maintaining your commitments, your deadlines, your start dates. Maintaining integrity with yourself and others should be the primary goal of your life. There have been wars won without a single arrow thrown based off of reputation. 6. Use the pause strategically. Before reacting, in between activities, there is a unique window of opportunity to choose. If you don't let reaction steal the show or hijack your emotions, this window of opportunity is a great source of power. It's your time to be the watcher of your thoughts, to observe how you are inclined to react, figure out why. And if used properly, it allows you to have a degree of assertion in your expression, to stand by it, to minimize regret. 7. Curiosity is critical. There is always more to learn, always more to know. No matter your age or what you have spent your life practicing, you can always learn something new, change directions, uproot your beliefs, uproot your habits, and change how you normally begin anything. The minute in life you forego learning about things because you think that there is not enough time or you are too old to learn it, that same moment you start heading downhill. 8. Humility wins. To actually learn and change, you need to allow yourself to be a student. That means not hardening up and creating an ego identity to your current knowledge base or your current accomplishments. To keep growing, you have to be willing to begin again. To keep listening, you have to simmer your arrogance and commitment to what you believe. Humility will make sure you see parts of life that easily get walled up by your natural defenses. Your curiosity depends on your humility for fuel, or it won't go the distance. 9. Audacity is required, and it is not in conflict with humility. I found that people have a negative connotation with ambition and audacity nowadays. It gets portrayed to be motivated by a hunger for power. So let me ask you something with this mentality. What would a life with pursuing no power look like? And without getting too controversial, let's just agree that you wouldn't want to be completely powerless. It would mean you have zero control of any degree of events in the future of your life. So if we can agree that that's not the state you want to be in, audacity will be the bridge between where you are and you actually taking the leap to who you can take claim to be. It is required. 10. Give without expectation. Plain and simple. Or just don't give. Definitely don't give with a hope of return. It doesn't count. 11. Fear is information. It's information to lean in, to confront, to inspire courage, to know where courage needs to be recruited in the first place, in these territories that make you feel fear, so you can do it scared. You will learn more about yourself doing and leaning into fear than any other endeavor in life. 12. Consistency matters over intensity. The consistent will get more reps, more experience, develop more skills, see deeper, reach higher heights, if you just remain on the job longer than the next guy. No matter what you do, you cannot bend the laws of physics to experience in a few months what takes years to do. People think if I do this under extreme intensity, I will get the same result in a quicker time than someone else. And although speed matters, it's how long you can maintain that speed that matters most. Show up more than the next guy. Optimize for consistency, for the marathon. 13. You can always get back on the wagon. No matter the break in momentum, no matter the interruption to your flow, nothing can take away from a man with a vision and determination. You can always get right back on course. And no one, not even yourself, will notice the hiccups looking back on your long journey. Just get back anytime you need to. Reaffirm your commitment and forgive the hiccups. 14. Your life is more than just about you. When you don't become what you need to, you hold back the life of others and what they could have as well in their life. People are depending on you. And you want that to be the case. A hedonistic life will leave you empty. There is no fulfillment in self-indulgence. It's a bottomless pit. Only when you fill others are you fulfilled. 15. Work when no one is looking. It is the only true measure of you. It is the only time that matters. All of the greatest performances are results of unappreciated work in the dark. Make yours count. 16. Your peace isn't on the outside. It's not in accomplishment, not in reaching anything. It's available no matter the storm. Inside. 17. Do it for yourself. What others think of your deeds is irrelevant and a shallow reason to do something. Similar to giving without expectation, that was the what. This is to ground your why. Make sure the reason for your doing is rooted in you, in what you want your future self to view of yourself, to think of yourself. You can't sustain anything without resentment unless there is a personal reason for you to sustain it, for yourself. 18. Help less. So you don't leave people helpless. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but don't get your help all over people. The more you help, the more you weaken their spine from standing up without you. Don't help someone do something they are capable of doing themselves. Especially don't let that become a pattern. Your good intentions compounds their weakened state. Be there in case they fall, but don't help them walk. 19. A mistake doesn't define you. Repeated mistakes do. As long as you take inventory and make necessary adjustments and don't invite back the consequences of repeating the same mistakes, a single mistake, no matter how big, will never define you. You always have room for redemption. 20. You expand in accordance to your hunger. And I don't mean your waistline, although that's probably true. We only work to the level of our hunger and satiation. So it becomes paramount to manage this, especially if you want more out of life. You have to increase your satiated levels, what you consider your baseline of filled. Your dopamine is activated when you pursue something, when you have urgency, when you reach and accomplish, when you progress. Your serotonin levels are your satiation, your satisfaction signals with how good you feel regarding your place and status, with how much you've accomplished. It tells you how much you're at peace. That means, in a sense, peace and progress are on opposing ends. They dampen each other. They have an inverse seesaw relationship. If you feel too good about where you have reached, if you feel too full by it, you have no reason to reach for more, and expansion stops. So in a way, if you want to keep expanding, you have to keep raising the bar. So you can still experience some peace in the short term, but reach for more in the long term. Macro patience and micro hustle. Keep raising the bar of what fulfills you. To keep that refrigerator empty. Stay hungry. 21. Let your principles rule your life. Ultimately, what you will be known for is how you carried yourself, what ethics, what morals you maintained, how you stood through the barrage of forces trying to compromise them. When life presents you a multitude of experiences, all the unexpected twists and turns of fate, when you have nowhere to look for guidance, your principles become your roots. They become your guiding light, your anchoring instructions. And if there's any uncertainty around what a guiding principle is, a good way to test its durability is by assessing its application and seeing if it can be subjectively skewed. A principle isn't compromised by circumstances. That's how you know if it's a guiding principle or not. It doesn't change based off of the circumstance. When in doubt, pick 2 to 5 uncompromising standards for yourself that you can always fall back on. That will rule your life. Let it rule your life. And the last principle, but not least, number 22, trust yourself to figure it out. You can only prepare so much in advance. The confrontation with the unknown is a permanent human problem. We're constantly venturing into the unknown. That means the preparation can't be the route or solution for dealing with it. How do you constantly prepare for the unknown? Ultimately, with enough experience and built-in trust with yourself, we learn to venture into the unknown despite our level of preparation. The only permanent solution to this permanent problem is to trust yourself to figure it out. To be guided so deeply by your principles that all your trips to the dark become adventures of discovery. Trust yourself. Love you, family. Cheers to your prosperity.